is what we have for the day. Focus, motivation, dedication, and no excuses from both ends. We can't give an excuse that we did not inform them well in advance, because they have to focus upon it, as they are writing for 5 subjects. English they have, listening skills, LSR skills they have, then for BS they have again the projects, accountancy they have written as well as project, math marketing they have, it's in a project form where they do the sums, marketing they have projects, and economics also they do have projects. So as far as a child is concerned, the child is...
Namaste, namaste, Archana ma'am. Sorry for the delay, Archana ma'am.
Jayanti ma'am, namaste.
Sorry, Choumya ma'am.
No issues, ma'am. You reached home or you are traveling?
Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Okay. Today for me holiday. Yes.
Fine. Okay. Ma'am, Jayanti ma'am, we are talking about this project.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Your area. So last year,
thank you.
I introduced this in the group. That is, before we could start, we had a session with ma'am, Malika ma'am. So Malika ma'am was saying, yes, Archana, go ahead, because project we had lots of doubts. No, so let it be. Now we need to start with, clear their doubts so they can very well utilize their time for the projects.
Yes.
I have a gist of a lot of projects, ma'am, that I have chosen. So, and from there, we will now discuss a few of it. So, we were talking about how, from a child's point of view, the project is important. And if you don't give them the time to decide upon a topic, how it is going to like affect the child, because the child is supposed to write for all the 5 subjects. And the time spent for the child to write it down, the time to learn it down, and then she has to come out for the viva. So what we do is, in 12th standard, as now Jayanti ma'am would be knowing, we give it off right away. Now they are in their holidays. So I had given them the topics, and they are sending me one by one, they are sending me what topic they have chosen. And then I said, you just give me the gist of what you plan out, and then I will discuss it with you. So I have told them so that they will work it out during the holidays. So now, why are we going into the project concept? So it's a social science which has a great influence on society. As Sugna ma'am just now asked us, can we take advertising? You can take, but you're correlating advertising into the subject and making it understandable that this is how a product is being sold in the market. How do you create demand for the product? How does a producer create supply for the product? Is when you advertise a product in the market. And what are the ways in which they advertise a product? So since it's a social science and which has a great influence on the society, we are making use of it in a project form and making the child understand that this is how it is. And I have written a gist of it, that is in the senior secondary education. Concepts are covered, and an overview of advanced concepts gives you a fine grounding in the subject and prepare you for higher education in the field. That is what I said, that when you go up the ladder, that is where you decide what you have to be. And when you go up the ladder, the child can, if the child is willing to do her PhD, willing to do her MPhil to start with, then it is from here that we are giving the child all encouragements. Go ahead. This is how you can be. Maybe now, as of now, the children are just raw. They don't have much of an idea as to what to do. Now, when we are giving each project to them and telling them how to go about with it, they'll get a better idea. Okay, this is how the subject is going to take a turn and how it is going to be. In the aspects of the subject, it's imperative to understand the practical aspect of it by studying case studies and examining current economic trends. So we are correlating it, we are comparing it, and we are coming to the day-to-day life of individuals when we study about the topic in the project map. So when we are doing the project, a child, if say for example, me, the child, is studying about a project. And when I study about the project, I go further in depth about the how it is, what am I supposed to do. So when I go into it, I do understand, oh, this is why this subject is so important. And we are taking case studies. Take one businessman and how has he expanded his business by advertising? What all ways did he advertise? And how did he gain the profit? Ultimately, business is to earn a profit. Business done is with ethics, you have to earn a profit. That is what we do. And that is how we are molding it up in such a way that when we compare it again with the neighboring countries, okay, with the countries which are growing, India and China, how did China emerge so well within a short span of time? Both countries were developing countries. And how did the Chinese product come to the Indian market? What was the reason for the Chinese product to come to the Indian market and flood the Indian market and make us buy the goods? Price. Knowing that the Chinese products may or may not be useful, or it cannot go for a longer period of time. Most of our houses do have Chinese products, right? Right from the phone that we are using, the systems that we are using, everything, if you take around, there will be 2 or 3 Chinese products. So how did that come to the market, come to the Indian market? And what inspired us to buy the product? So it's a comparison. The advertisement is there. And in the advertisement, it is the Indians who are present, not the Chinese people. And the product is there in the Indian market. And we, the Indians, are buying the product. So how it is helping the countries to develop? Knowingly or unknowingly, we are also contributing to it. Only after the pandemic, we did realize that Chinese products are there in the Indian market, because most of the products we were not able to get, especially the electronic goods. We literally struggled, no? The first pandemic, when we were asked to go for an online life. Phone illa market le. Yenna keta, it's from China, it seems. No products are coming from China. So then we did understand, oh, we did a big mistake. We gave our Indian market for the Chinese products to be flooded. And so, which means that we have indirectly helped them to grow. Then only we really understood the concept of Make in India. We should be depend on somebody else when we keep on telling that we are literate, more literate than what they are. So, child will start thinking, yes. Then comes the concept, Make in India. And what is the idea behind Make in India? The child themselves will find out. Yes, ma'am, we can make. Then why didn't you make? Why were we keeping quiet? Yes, we will develop. We will do. So this is instigating the child to understand that we were a cause of China's development, China's growth. First populous country, second populous country. Literate country, not that literate country. Hardworking people, if you leave the country and go, talking about us only. India, Vitta, we are very, very hardworking. So what is the problem within the country? Why are we not hardworking people? So what is attracting you there is your dollar concept? Or is it the policies that we have here? So this is how we correlate it. Now, going to the next slide. Now, these are the topics that normally that we have. Banking sector reforms, general topics, tax reforms, digital India movement, then import substitution versus export promotion, impact on macroeconomic variables on values of currencies, budget deficit, credit creation, BOP, balance of payment, central bank and its functions, principles of management, foreign exchange market, exchange rate systems, development of the Indian economy, then money multiplier, government budget and its components. We already have that. I have given you the summary of it. So from there, you can work it out. Then basic principles of taxation, then price discrimination, evolution of barter system, cashless economy. It was one of the concepts that we had in our budget. All these things, if you see somewhere down, we are correlating it to the budget. One foot out of that 14 points, one thing we are taking from the budget. Now, I have a number of things. Allowing foreign banks to open branches in India with regards to the liberalization policy. So, LPG we are going. So there we are asking the question, why did the foreign banks open its branches in India? Standard Chartered Bank. We have so many examples of foreign banks. So why are they here and what are they doing here in the economy? So the child will study about it. Then how the reforms change the position of the RBI from being a regulator to a facilitator. RBI's role from a regulator to a facilitator. Then phases of export promotion, the various phases of promotion, of export promotion. Then objectives behind export promotion. So why do you have to export? The objectives. It is there in the textbook. So part by part, we are taking it out. Then export promotion policies. What are the policies that the countries have? Then history of import substitution. Then objectives behind this import substitution, measures of import substitution. I made a mistake here. Then inflationary rate. Again, I think it's a repetition over here. Then this is contemporary employment situation in India. Some of us would have again taken this, where we talk about overpopulation, lack of proper educational facilities and awareness among the masses, and how and the ways that the government had taken to get rid of the so-called concept of poverty, 2 square meals a day idea. And are there any states who are still in the state of poverty? Do we have people below the poverty line? Then reservation for jobs. Are they really going to the deserving classes, deserving sections of the society or not? So the child from the 12th standard point of view is studying like this. They're not studying it from the a person who is 30 and above. The child is studying from her point of view, his point of view, from what they understand, what all things can they take. They are learning about poverty, they are learning about unemployment. So all these things they'll incorporate. And we will have to support them, guide them, tell them, yes, please go by these areas. So the child will have the real content. And whatever the child learns at that point of time is related to what is there in the IED textbooks, what is there in the macro textbooks. So two ways of advantage here for the child is learning for the project. At the same time, the child is preparing for the board exam. And if the child is getting extra info, well and good. This is the learning process of every child. So let the child get an added advantage. Let the child learn. If not now, when will they learn? So this is how we have to instigate in them. Then micro and small scale businesses. If some children feels like at times the children will ask, ma'am, if we take micro, so many questions will be asked. Will I be able to answer them? And some children, they may not be able to understand the concepts of micro and macro economics. So what those kinds of children, you know that their understanding capacity is so much, only that much. So you can put it across in a good way that, okay, my dear, go for micro and small scale businesses. Already they have studied this in their BS in 11th standard. So if you are a BS teacher, it's already been taught in BS in 11th standard. So in 12th standard, IED, we are teaching them again. So the child will be fine with this. So a child who is not able to go with the macro concepts like banking, currency wars, last year we had so many children going with currency wars. So if those children find it difficult, okay, if the external is asking me questions, will I be able to answer the external? If such a fear is there in a child, you can make the child take subjects or topics which is much easy for the child to understand and put it across in the child's own way. So n number of topics are there like this for the child. Health expenditure. You can take a particular district or a state for the analysis. It can be 1 or 2 hospitals. If the child knows somebody who's working in the hospital and post-COVID situations, so we can very well make the child study about it. Okay, what did this government hospital do? How did they try helping the people, those who were very badly affected with pandemic? As Roslina ma'am yesterday said, her two daughters are there now. So if she has a neighbor, a child who is in 10th standard, definitely the child will come to ma'am's children. Akka, tell what had happened. How did you support? So this way, health, expenditure, and how things went can be discussed. And again, we'll get back to the government. What was the contribution of the government? We know because in the newspaper cuttings we have, now the children need not be worried about the newspaper cuttings also, because everything is there in the website. If you type and see what did the central government do for supporting the people during the pandemic, the list will come. What did the state government do, that is Tamil Nadu government, do for supporting the people during the pandemic? That also will come. So all statistical data are available for the children nowadays. Only thing is, we have to support them, we have to guide them, tell them how to go about it. Need not be too many figures and graphs. One or two case studies. That is why we said we go by case studies normally. So when we go by case studies, the child will have an understanding rather than taking everything. So when we are giving the topic to the child, tell the child to be specific, not to be general. Introduction, let it be general. Then the child can go with case studies. And when the child is going with case studies, it's how our brain goes. When we study about one or two incidents, one or two organizations, one or two hospitals, one or two people, then yes, the child will have a better understanding. Okay, this is how this section worked. This is how this section is working. Then make a comparison of that. And finally, analysis, interpretation. So you analyze, you have written the content, you have got all what these organizations were doing. Then you have to analyze, you have to interpret, then you have to conclude. Was it successful? If yes, yes. No, it did have its demerits. Then let the child write the demerits. So from the project only, the viva is asked. We know very well. Normally, all teachers will ask from the project what the child is written. So this is how we are giving the child enough space and time so that the child will come out with n number of doubts. Now, this is one example that I took. Aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic. That is, how did it affect the economy? We are directly coming into our topic here. How did it affect the economy, Indian economy? Now, the point is GDP growth rate expected to decrease, we know very well, because most of us did not step out. Most of us became jobless. Most of them did not get salaries. So definitely the demand has come down and the supply also was comparatively less. So that we will speak. Then the confidence, the story is written here. Then NPAs with banks are expected to rise, non-performing assets. About that I have mentioned. Then there was a mismatch in demand and supply. When we demanded, there was no supply. When there was supply, there was no demand. Either ways was there. Then businesses faces an uncertain future. Yes, the people who were, like my neighbor was here, he was happily having juice shops in different parts of Chennai. Around 12 to 15 shops he had, small shops. And he was running a beautiful time. And in the month of March 16 only lockdown started. Schools shut down in 2020. So this man decided he bought a house for almost 1 crore, something odd also. And then he was planning to make some benefit out of it because he had loans. And one whole year, I could see how that family struggled and suffered. He had to sell that house that he bought 1 year before because complete loss for his business. Juice shop had to close down. Then what they did was they converted juice, because juice is, we have to add ice cubes in it. Nobody drank anything cold because we had a fear whether we are healthy or not. COVID was a problem. So nobody drank juice. So what that family did is husband and wife started make cutlets. I used to go get it from him because I thought, okay, at least some help we can provide them. And they converted that juice shop into something which is hot, something which people will be ready to buy. So there were n number of cases where businesses went down and uncertain future for the family. And finally, what they did is they sold that house with great, what to say, expectations. They bought that house. ரொம்ப ஆசையா வாங்குற வீடு. ரெண்டு குட்டி குழந்தை, two small girls. When they left that house, they were like, nothing was there. Everything, 14, 15 shops at a time shut down now. That time, what I thought in my mind is good. We were not business people. So this is when we realize, okay, some regular earning that a person gets is better than risk. Business is a risk. So we can take one case study. Like that, children will take a case study and the child will very beautifully come across with so many examples. Because Kanmunadi Pathada, when the child is explaining to the external, the child is pretty confident about what the child is speaking. But what we have to do is we have to give those children time. This is barter system, exchange of goods for goods. So what happened? Why did we stop the barter system? Because we have this chapter. And then why are we now going into the sophisticated way of money? And we feel that money is more easier than this barter system. So what was the reason for the decline of all those things? We'll get a better idea. Then MSMEs, we have this in our budget. So I have the kind of enterprises, the act, and the amount that they are using. This much is the amount, classification of enterprises. If it is micro, 25 lakhs. It's a manufacturing. If it's a service, 10 lakhs. Small scale, it's this. And from this, the child will take one micro, one small scale industry, one medium scale. 3 case studies. Child will happily finish off the project. And when the child is doing this, the child is also studying. And again, this is there in our subject. Then the next one is import substitution. Guess now what we spoke. What is this import substitution? The history of import substitution, and then the content goes. So import substitution, export and import is there for our macro. So again, with 2 or 3 case studies, the child will be able to put it across. Then the plow plate, food supply chain. Ponavati edthirkingla Jayanti ma'am, did you take the food supply chain?
No, ma'am.
This is something new. Food supply chain. So this also is a great concern because agriculture, which is the backbone of the Indian economy, and that is where we start our IED. And what is the present scenario? That is a supply chain, involves these many people. The farmers, the seed producers, fertilizer factories, the financial institutions, millers, government warehouse, fair price shops, retail shops, railways, truck transport companies, etc., etc., etc. It goes on. Because it's a chain of how the food goes from the producer to the ultimate consumer. So you can again, so every year, what we are doing is why I brought this into the day's session is 1 year, last year you gave some topics. No, that topic need not be given this year. Go with a new set of topics so that they will not get an added advantage of copying it from their seniors. Understood? So it's an intelligent way of telling the child that you can't get any material from your seniors. Let the child work out. And when the child is doing it, the child definitely will get a benefit. Maybe the child will be a little disturbed because I have to do this much. No, tell her. Now itself, if they are there in school, give them the topics. Ask them to discuss with you. Send them, ask them, like these are the set of topics. What do you want to prefer? You give them so many topics. We are giving them so many topics. Now this, I'll send it to you. This PPT will come to you. So from here, you take the topics and you post it in the group. And ask the children And last year's topics, you remember, no, Jayanti ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
That
ma'am.
topics you are eliminating from my district. Okay. அதே எடுத்துட்டு மீதி இருக்கிற டாபிக்ஸ் மட்டும் கொடுத்துருங்க பசங்க.
Yes, ma'am.
அப்போ from there let them come out.
Yes.
அதுல இருந்து you know some children are dull, some children are very bright. அந்த மாதிரி you have to make a segregation there because you know the children, they are with you in 11th standard, so
Yes,
you
ma'am.
know their pulse. So எடுத்ததுக்கு அப்புறம் the child shouldn't say ma'am it's very tough, என்னால இது முடியாது ma'am அப்படினு சொல்ல கூடாது. You shouldn't give them an opportunity to say that because திருப்பி பண்ணும்போது they find it very tough. So make sure that we are giving it right away to the kids and they are working on it. இப்ப வந்து it's May month, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, Jan, 8 மாசம் இருக்கு. 8 months are more than enough for a child.
Yes, ma'am.
Nice research. Appo when they are taking a topic and you understand that yes, that this child can do this particular topic, so you fix the topic for the child. Then when the child is collecting the content, no, tell the child to show it to you.
Yes.
Fulla mudichittu don't ask the child to bring it because you can help the child throughout. So introduction mudichadukku appuram ask the child to bring it to you.
Objectives.
Objectives இருந்து நம்ம ஆரம்பிக்கணும். Definitely if it is a primary data, yes, you have to ask எங்கேந்து இது கிடைக்கும். இப்போ self help group னு வெச்சுக்கோ ma'am. So if the self help group is there, are you having a self help in the place where you are? Do you know those people? Are you personally going and collecting information from them? From there you have to. This is a secondary data. Let it not be just like that copied from the website.
Yes.
Tell them to improvise on it. Tell them to study. And when they bring it to you, you read it. So tell them first, give me the part by part of it. Then we'll assemble it together and make it at the final. So what happens is by the end of the day, when they bring all the projects together, and if you sit and read it, and if you tell them to make changes, they'll get angry. Any child for that matter. If a teacher says that fulla maatittu va, it's not good, now she gets upset. No.
They will.
The mindset of a child. So tell the child, nee konjam konjama eludittu engitta kondu va. Give it to me, let me read it. And you will have to read it. Nama padichu paatadukku appuram tell them, okay, idu nalla irukku. Add some more pictures to this or add some more content to this. Nalla irukum. You refer the textbook. So when you motivate the child to do like that, that will become the child's unique project.
Yes.
And that happiness the child will get, and the project when it is becoming the final project. Ma'am, I know. Because you sat with the child, you made the child understand the plus and minus of the project, and then we are finally giving it to her. This is your stake. This is your hard work. We are just people who went through it. This is your hard work. And Viva she'll be very confident. Ma'am, I will do my Viva very well. And that is the kind of confidence now we have to give the kids. Because 20 marks solved on the project. And it's the heart and soul of the child in the project. So that is how we are training them right from the beginning of the year. Maybe ஒரு டிகிரி முடிச்சதுக்கு அப்புறம் அவ வந்து பிஜி முடிச்சிட்டு she is going to do a PhD na, she'll remember you. That time you will be her hero or his hero. Jayanti ma'am da என்ன நல்லா ப்ராஜெக்ட் பண்ண, I know how to do a project. அதோட bigger version is a PhD. They did it in a small form, that in an elaborate form they'll do it. And when they speak during the Viva one-on-one, that confidence that the child has when he or she enters that room, then they will speak to the external, they'll make the external, they'll convince the external by their answers. And Viva mudichittu varumbodhu you will feel proud. External will say, "Azhaga pannittu pasanga." That is the reward that a teacher gets by the end of the day.
We are expecting that word only, ma'am.
And every year I get that. Amazing, beautiful projects. In my marketing project, they studied about chocolate.
Chocolate.
Chocolates, okay. Will you believe me or not? எனக்கு தெரியாது. Chocolates actually நம்ம dairy milk எல்லாம் it's made from cockroaches.
Definitely, I don't know.
Cockroach the skin of this the wings of the cockroach illa with that look it up and see adha vechuda they are making it. And the external was cockroach. She stared at me. Archana, it is Katyama. I said, ma'am, that's the truth. I had my doubts. Then we all searched. How will we eat this chocolate? I said, that's again a question. Good question. And the child found out. And the child said, this is from this. So one lesson we are learning, from a project that the child.
Where is this data taken, ma'am?
It's on the website, ma'am. It's there in the website, clearly given dairy milk, and it's been approved by the food department also. It doesn't create any harm, it seems. It's not
harm. Nowhere we see the red mark or anything for, I mean, it's there. There is a vegetarian mark also sometimes there in these products.
There is no marks because it's been approved by the department. It doesn't harm human beings. How they do it, it's a different way, but it is there.
Looks like we need not worry about cockroaches in our kitchen then.
That is, I just asked her the question. Hit add is how does it come? That's how it is. So this is an example of a project done by the child. First, when she came out with me with this project to me, I said, how will we present this project? Cockroaches and Cadbury. She said, ma'am, it's the truth. It's the proven truth. So that is how new things are. So what the external told me is, I learned a few lessons from what they had brought me in the form of a project. New things which I did not know is added to this. Even the pictures. If a child is a good artist, the child herself can draw the pictures of how all these things goes in macro, goes in supply, goes in demand, like that. They can draw beautiful pictures. It's just the innovation of the child, her own pictures. But before it goes as a final copy, what we as teachers have to do, go through the picture properly, so that nobody in future should say there's a mistake over there. No, that is why I'm telling you to have a thorough go through, read the content, make sure that there are no mistakes. Because somebody from some other school is coming to evaluate our children, and nobody should say, no, this is wrong. No, that we don't want. So when it is given in bits and pieces for us, it is also easy for us to study. When it comes as a entire booklet, it's not that easy for us to study. So that is a problem, where if in case we are lacking an interest in studying, is because we get it together. No. So we have to get it in bits and pieces from the kids. Introduction first, aparam content, then the case studies from the child, and spend some time with the child. Sit with the child. Ask her to explain it. Okay, what do you understand by this? We need to spend time. That is what is expected out of us. They are the stakeholders, so they expect that from us, the parents. So when we do our work very sincerely, at least some parents will come and tell, ma'am, the way in which my daughter did the project, she put her heart and soul into the project. So ultimately, the appreciation is coming to us. So because the parent is seeing how the child is doing, what all efforts the child is taking to do a project for 20 marks. So this is how we have to mold the children to do it. So this is what I had for you. So I will be sending it out to you. This the PPT that I made, so that each and every topic you can go. First, let us browse into the topic. Let us see what all are the content in the topic. What is only required, just take it out. What the child needs. And this many, we are having like, if you're going back to the olden practice, we'll have a handwritten copy of it, as per what the board says. This time we all went with a printed copy of it. And I'll show you examples so that you will have an idea. Just give me a second. I have taken it down and kept a few examples. Best ones. Waste management was there for me this time. How they studied about how the corporation is making you, how they are taking the waste and dumping it there, and what is happening from the cities. Just a second. Vertical farming was there for me. And that girl had beautiful pictures, ma'am. Beautiful, beautiful pictures a child had for vertical farming. I'll just share it with you and see how smartly the children have bought it. Now, Suguna ma'am, this is how we start with our, we have a pattern of doing the project. The name of the topic, this is done by the present outgoing child, the bona fide certificate. Then comes the rest of the things were there, which I removed it, that I'll show exactly. This is the vertical farming. Examples mean how the child is presented the topic. Okay. How the picture is shown. This is a building in which the vertical farming is happening. Main components of vertical farming. And the kinds of crops that they grow in this vertical farming system. Then, if a person is interested to do vertical farming at home, how to go about with it? Small ways left. Get the plastic bottles, then cut the bottom of each bottle so that the lid of the bottle can be used as the bottom bottle of the tower or the funnel. Then 2 holes are created in each of the bottles with few inches from the top to the lid, one of each slide that will act as a drainage for the excess water. Then soil and manure mix is used to fill the bottle from the bottom up to 2 centimeters to 4 inches. Then few bottles are used for storing water, which drips water slowly from the tiny holes. Then the whole network holds on firmly together, one below the other. நம்ம ஒரு bottle மேலே வச்சிட்டு அப்படியே கீழே. So it's a vertical farming. முன்னாடியே we can do it. So நம்ம என்ன பண்ணோம்னா we just pour the water on top of that, the first bottle. அப்படியே தண்ணி கொட்டி drip. It's a drip irrigation system. Money plants எல்லாம் இருக்குல்ல மேம் வீட்ல. So that will be hanging in front of your house. பார்க்கிறதுக்கு அழகா இருக்கும். Only thing is 1 mug of water you are pouring it. And in a place like that of Chennai, where we don't have place to keep big pots, this vertical farming is the ideal thing. Garden, it will look good also. When you are entering the house, it's all green. Because during the pandemic time, everyone told us, no, you should have a tulsi, you should have a neem, you should have some plants inside your house which have medicinal value because it brings in positive energy. So, idile vandu chatti ellam vekka venda. You need some bottles. What we drink, whatever teen vaangra bottle, if it is a plastic one, thanni kudikira bottle, all these things, the same bottle, if you tie one below the other. அந்த காலத்துல பானை எல்லாம் வச்சுட்டு we used to do drip irrigation kind of a thing. Same thing. So in a nutshell, the child has taught us how to have a small garden at home. If you love gardening, you can do this vertical farming, and you are not wasting our time. You're not wasting the space. It will be hung somewhere there. So this is an idea that makes a person who's an ardent lover of a garden to have small gardens hanging in front of your house. Somebody comes and asks you, nice idea, no? Yes, you take the benefit of that, and the appreciation comes to you. So this is how advantages. So when that small plant is over, that rotation is gone, then you can plant something else, small ones. And better use of space, all the benefits the child is listed down. So this is how the topic goes. And maybe these are all taken from Western countries. But we still can use it. Maybe it is for like a small garden, that's all. And for a farmer, if you ask me how to go about that, the farmers have to work on it. With small, the pulses we can do. Pulses doesn't require a huge space. At least self-sustenance is happening here. No. Vegetables are put you under garden. So that is what is expected out of it. Then the conclusion, then a bibliography. So this is how one topic went. Now another topic, if I share with you all, is about the waste management. Let me see whether I Malavika's is with self-help. This topic goes with SHG. I'll share that self-help group, commonly used topic by most of the children. Aims and objectives of SHG groups. Methodology of self-help groups. That is what method she is taken. She is taken secondary source of information and from published sources. So what all are the sources, reports she is written down. Then the introduction of the topic. Then the structure of self-help group that she studied, what she had studied about. Then the goals of this. What was the goal of this self-help group? Then the purpose of the self-help group, she's written down in points. Then history of the self-help group. That is how did this SHG started? See, it goes back to 1985 from the action undertaken by the Mysore Resettlement of Area Development Agency. This is how it started. Self-help group started. MYRADA in the southern states. Then the agencies which are providing them. NABARD is there, RBI is there, IFAD is there, which is helping in their growth. Then, importance of the self-help group during the pandemic. That was a very important effort taken by them. Two things, they were able to serve the public, at the same time they were able to make a livelihood. It is like Make in India concept. You started making goods on your own. So that is there. She's given examples. In Bihar, she is given. In UP, she is given. Tamil Nadu, she is given. Kerala, she is given. So she took these four states. In one line, she said what the self-help group did for the people. Then, again, we know that an organization will have problems to face. So what were the challenges that the self-help group faced? The points she has listed down: ignorance of members or participants, then lack of financial support, problems of marketing, because normally, even if we go to the market, we go for branded goods, right? Because advertising the brands we have seen, and we just go for branded goods, non-branded goods that we are a little scared. What if it is not good? So because of that, they have problems of marketing. Then training facilities, if they are producing something, they are not well-trained people, they'll be unskilled or semi-skilled people. They would have tried it out. Then the raw materials. They will have only very limited raw materials. So what is the difficulty that they have faced? This is the disadvantage. Now, suggestions. If you have these many problems, what did she study as a suggestion to come out of this? Now, general education status in village, particularly female education, to be emphasized. If a woman is educated, the women only form self-help groups too. So that is one way to help them. Basic education to be provided. Then special stress has to be laid on vocational education also. Vocational education equal importance கொடுக்கணும். Because vocational education will make the people to do. They have so many other skills rather than learning the theory part of it, like stitching, drawing, carpentry, making chapatis, or how to make it, how to commercialize it, how to sell it out. Then general awareness among members. When you are part of the self-help groups, what are your rights? How to reach out to the public? How will you bring it out to the public? Then incentives need to be provided to banks so that they are encouraged to set up branches in rural areas. The banks has to financially support these people. Then aggregate data regarding actual management of the self-help groups. Really write down what is exactly happening. We maintain a register in our school. So when you have a Pakka plan and when you know what you're doing on a regular basis, things will go on. Then general improvement in the status of the rural infrastructure. Yes, we know that the infrastructure in the rural areas are not so good. So that also has to grow. So if these basic things are sorted out, then some of their problems will be removed. Then the advantages. So combating social evils, women empowerment, active participation in democracy. That is, women are having that thought, okay, I am also earning, I can also earn some money to help my husband, to help my family, to help my father. So that way, a self-confidence, boosting up the confidence in a woman, that I can be capable of doing something to support my family. So when a woman is independent on her own, she automatically will start speaking, raising a voice. So that will help. Then employment opportunities will grow up and access to government schemes. So when your self-help group is really good, definitely you have these many members and you are doing like this, you can, after keeping a certain amount of money with you, you can approach the bank. The bank will realize that you are doing a wonderful job. The bank will provide you loans. So that is how you improve. And this goes, financial discipline also improves. Then the conclusion. So this is what the child is written. So in order to read all these things, if you get the topic, if you get this, I went through this part by part by part by part. They started sending it to me because this is a type 1. They'll type, they'll send it to me. Now, again, this can be done with us also. Handwritten copy in Dalam, you can ask the children to send it to you. First, the content. If you feel that the content is really good, then tell them to write. So you are reducing their burden. No. So now every child, a parent will have all these facilities, right? So tell the child to send it to your WhatsApp from your parents' number, from their parents' number. What little the child is taken. They will know how to cut, how to edit, or when they are writing, they don't have this access. Editor, as you're sending me, no, the answers. Ma'am, this is enough. Send it to you. So they need not wait to meet you in person in school. Adu konjam in the May month itself, half of their work will get over. And you can read it whenever you are free. You need not wait for the child to meet you in person. Here at home also, whenever we are free in the month of May, we will be free, no? After 10, after the work is over, maybe during the afternoon when you feel sleepy, don't sleep. Take some rest by reading this. So that time you will get some idea and you can help the child also. So the child also will feel, yes, ma'am is ready to do it. Ma'am is helping me out and let me make my work better and better and better. So this is the way that you can now send across all these things, what I'm sending you now. After this class, I'll immediately send you yesterday's PPT and today's PPT. Today's PPT is for you to send these content to your kids by eliminating what you gave last year. If some new ideas you forget. Please put in those ideas also. If you have some new thoughts, please put in that and ask them to send you the feedback. That is, ask the student to send you what you have chosen, which topic you have chosen. Other than that, you can segregate. Now, as I said before, if the child is not that good to go with a very tough topic, banking, some questions the child may not be able to answer on her or his own. Now, make the child take some lighter topic. So this is the time you plan out the topic, and after you have planned out the topic, write it down and keep it. Take a book, or this year take a new diary, and in the diary write the child's name. And next to the child's name, you write the topic that the child is chosen. So whenever you get the content from the child, update introduction tick. So the child will not tell, ma'am, ma'am, you did not read. They shouldn't make us a fool. Ma'am, just take the book like this. This is my this year's book. I'll show you my last year's diary, in which I've written all their names. This was my last year's diary. So any book, ma'am, any book for that matter, you take a notebook, you take your child's notebook also. So, and then you write. So you will have in there what the child has written. See, here, this is the first thing that I wrote. Anjali Sharma, organic farming. Arpita Jain, consumer protection. Bushra, SHG. Diya Malhotra, make in India. Gomati, organic farming, like that. All my students' details, I have written it down here. So all the 38 students, list I got. After this, I went through. This is what I gave them. After we have discussed, after we have come to a conclusion that this child is good in doing this, I gave them the final verdict. Yes, please go ahead. Adukapram, when they are sending you introduction, next page, the child's name is there, line, you just write introduction, send, tick. So one thing when you are getting it from the child, keep a note of what you got and what you read, and you are returning it back to the child. Yes, go ahead. Introduction is over. Objectives, aims and objectives should be there, mandatory. Did the child write the aim and objective? If the aim and objective is not written, ask the child to send you the aims and objectives. Introduction mattam, the child has sent you. Now you have to tell the child, send me the aims and objectives. Introduction, good, I went through. When you're reading that, you feel, no, it is not good. Ask the child, you just make some changes there, and ask the child to go with the changes. About 1 month now we'll get, then go into the content, then the case studies, and then finally analysis and interpretation. So within 2-3 months, the child's rough copy will be ready in bits and pieces, and the child is not writing it down also, where the child feels happy. Okay, ma'am did not ask me to write it again and again and again, where I am having difficulty to write. So once you do all these things, they will be fine. They will be very much ready for the board. And you just see, and the order irka, finally, content vandadukku perage you have to go with the first page, then the index, adellam then. Because that you have now, no, last year's batch you have no, you just tell it. They need not do anything. Index mattum, index. That's a new index that the child has. But this is the format. And the Anjar page, the first few pages are exactly that. Last one, the conclusion, bibliography. That you tell them not to worry. We will take the first page and second page and give it, because only the name of the child changes there. All the other content will remain the same. Principal ma'am signature, that ma'am will only sign by the end. So paper it will be a printed paper. So tell the child not to worry about that too. Spiral binding, before the child does the spiral binding, be very careful that you see the paper, the entire booklet. Because after spiral binding, if you ask the child to remove the spiraling, so final copy before the child spiral it. Let us see that. One page wise, we have to see. First page, name of the child is there, registration number is there, the details are there, the bona fide is there, then acknowledgement is there, index is there, introduction is there, age and objectives. Some children will write aims and objectives followed by the introduction. Some children will introduce and then write the aim and objective. So that should be there. Then the content should be there. Case studies should be there. It has to be in an order. You just approve it. After me approving, you go for the spiraling. So we have to see. Let the child spiral it, and then the child will keep it. And the day before, the board practicals. You have to get it from the child, because if in case the child forgets to bring it on the day, then we will have to run. So tell the child to give it to us before the project day, and then we are maintaining it. We get all the seal signature from principal ma'am, we sign it and keep it ready. Then ma'am signature facsimile would be there, and then it is ready. So if they ask you, ma'am, we don't have the project in hand, you have the rough copy, no. That from there only you made the fair copy and gave it to me. But we need not send them, give it back. This project final copy, we are not sending it back to be on the safer side, because child will get scared, or in the tension the child forgets. Then we have to call the parent, ask the parent to bring. The parent should be at home. So all these things are removed, because number of times the child is having the rough copy with them. And tell the children, don't throw away the rough copy. They have to keep the rough copy with them. So this is how this year we are going to happily do our project. Then term 1 Mandalam, the project is now ready. Skeleton of the project we'll have no. If in case it is a term 1. Term 1 the same project only we did no last year. Adhe project we gave them. The same one we did it for this thing also. That is elaborate part of it. We did it for term 2. So we will be ready. Well, however, the board is putting it across also, we will be ready with whether it is term 1 or term 2, we are ready. Illa full final project, not term to 20 marks also, we are ready. So this is how we are going to engage the child in 12th standard for the project. Illa Suguna ma'am is taking only 11th this year now, for example. The same thing you will train the 11th standard students. Okay, adile vandu nama micro il irukra topics ma'am. Whatever topic is there that we are teaching for micro, perfect competition la vandu oligopoly, monopoly, perfect competition, one topic you give it to them, and it need not be this lengthy. Engalukku vandu we have a set of papers that they are supposed to write. You just make it for 12 pages or 10 pages or 5 pages, so that the child gets used to writing a project. So the child will have an idea that next year I am supposed to write the project. And when I write the project will be written. So you will also get an understanding. We will also get. Because project it's very easy. And Jayanti ma'am knows the difficulty. Ilya ma'am, when the children started doing the project, when children started doing the project, the tension that we had last year, Jayanti ma'am knows. First time when they are doing the project.
Yes, sir.
So, narrate doubts veru namalukku. Narrate doubts veru. Naangela we are doing it because first time when you do it, you have n number of doubts. I hope now it is very clear, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Very, very clear as to how we are going with the Palpana. You have to start it now itself.
And also before that Viva, I asked a lot of questions. How, if you are external, what are the questions? The same question, my external also she asked. So I'm very happy. What are the questions I could inform to my children? The same questions she asked. They are very happy. Children, they are very happy.
Because Suguna ma'am gave me her set of topics and she asked me, ma'am, how will the external ask for this? I said these are the possible questions that an external can ask. So that is what ma'am is saying. And the Madhuri same questions external asked who came for them. So here, next time what we will do is you will be all the more vigilant. You frame so many questions, ma'am. Now my introduction padikkumbodhu konja questions kedaikula, write it down and
Yes,
next
sir.
your child's name. So as and when the child is making it, you give her the input. Eppadi ketta, how will you answer? So likewise, we are training the child. Just like we are training the child for writing the exam, we are also training the child for preparing the child for the white. That's it.
Yes.
Ultimately, we should give them the confidence, because we won't go. Sometimes we'll be there, but we are helpless. We can't help them out. So we can only listen to what the external asks. So what we have to do, I never go inside my room, sit with my external. I'll give the full freedom to the external, ask her the questions. I'll just sign it and then I'll come off. External and the child. So they will know, okay, this child is like this. When a teacher, the subject teacher sits there, then some of the externals will not be happy. The external will ask some questions. We will try to help our child by giving the answer. That is not needed. We have to be there just to introduce a thing to the external and just I know. That is how I normally do it. So the child, what I do is I give confidence to my children. Before they go for the Viva, they are fully confident that they'll be able to answer these questions. And that confidence actually in turn will help the child to write the board exams also very well. Okay, I finished my 20 marks. Now I have to work for my 80 marks. Up in the 20 marks, I have already got. Now let me work for that 80 marks. Tips. So many tips are there indirectly motivating the child. See, you learned, no, you gave answers to the external, right? So you are capable, go ahead. Just give them that signal that you are no less to anyone. And the happiness that they have when they come out of the room, you should only see it from their face. Ma'am, I finished, ma'am, I was able to answer, ma'am. So that's the confidence that the teacher gave. And with that confidence, you can next tell the child, now that Viva is over, 20 marks, you got it. The rest of the 80 marks, now work. So if you can do this project, you still can study the theory part. So this is how we go day by day with the child. But it has to go in a systematic sequence. நம்மளுக்கு ஒரு systematic way போனாலே our work gets over. If somebody is dumping everything on your head, இன்னைக்கு தான் பண்ணி முடிக்கணும். If somebody gives you, will you be able to do? No. See, yesterday I didn't send you the PPT because I literally forgot. Ma'am, Kaleli you have social science, Madhyanam you are having economics. So I was wondering, you will get assignment here also. So I thought, okay, it is not wise. I still have some more time where I can spare for you. That is when yesterday I did not send you the PPT, thinking that you will relax. Then after one day when I give it to you, it's easy for you. You relax, you take your time. This is the mindset of any human being. Whether it is a child or whether it is an elderly person, a teacher, it is this mindset. Let me do my work when it fits in this. So when we train them in this way, I think they'll really do a good job without any grumbling on this. But we have to keep a track of it. One child is not doing anything, not responding to what you are saying, then you should say, don't come to me at the last day and give me everything and tell me to read. I will not be in a position to read the whole thing overnight because I have to go through the project fully. So you need to give me sufficient time to read your projects. Appada, I'll be able to help you out. So when you tell it to them, they'll understand. My ma'am is reading it. My ma'am will find out the areas, the gray areas in my topic, which is not good. She will help me to solve that problems and then I will proceed with it. So we have to ensure that always we are there with them till they finish the board exam. So that kind of a confidence, if you give them, definitely they'll come to you. So that's true. We have understood. Jayanti ma'am, you will agree. We always have that thing, ma'am, please. They feel that we will be able to do some great wonders, Madhuri.
Yes.
More than their parents, they believe on us. Ma'am.
What you are saying true, ma'am.
That is the teacher. That is why we are called second parents. Because only we know their pulse, we know their fear, we know their tension more than a mother. What the child has in her mind. Just go ahead and do it in the very back. When we just give them a signal, pat the back and say, go ahead, do it. Yes, my ma'am said I'm capable of. That's the word that we give. So that is what we are doing. We just keep doing our work. They'll also join us, and happily the session gets over. So that is why I thought, okay, I'll speak to you regarding the projects, so that beginning of the year itself we work together for the projects, and then by end of December the child will be ready with the project. Appa vandu, if the child is not ready with the other things, you can make use of the time to teach the child theory part. On the tension, the child will happily proceed with it. Because the child has accountancy, the child has BS, the child has English, the child has maths or marketing, whatever the child has taken. So our work is over, the child is happy, the child is confident. So I hope my PPT will help you. Send it to them right away. Whatever areas, whichever topics you want, you just pick it. May not be the whole thing. What you feel, pick it, edit it, and then send it to them. Tell them, Hemant, you are free, no? Give me the feedback, I'll work on it. So I hope it's very clear now as to how the project has to go. Again, if you still want, I can send you a soft copy of the project once the children is out. Once they finish writing the boards, I'll send it to you. That is after 28th of May, I'll send the soft copy of a project, so that you can go through it, you can keep that as a sample, and then you can tell them, this is the format, this is how you do it. So we are having the soft copy for us, for our reference, and these PPTs that you have, if you still want to study on it, whatever you are going to take. If Jayanti ma'am is having how many children in your class?
What, ma'am?
How many children are there in this batch?
Today, this year, seven boys. Only 7, ma'am.
Only 7 boys. No.
Yes,
it is the best you pick and give it to them. And then before sending it to them, you study about it. Otherwise, summary mutton, you just send the child.
Yes,
then the child will work on it.